Hey, Azure friends. So, if you are anything like me, you're very excited to be deploying solutions to Azure. SQL databases, availability sets, web apps, Azure functions. You're excited about it all. You just want to start deploying things. Well, a few weeks ago, I posted an article to my blog about cost control. Because one of the things I think is neglected in our discussions about cloud is cost control. Because we like to deploy things and not necessarily think about the fact that we have to control the cost. That's really one of our responsibilities now. And it's not just a responsibility of technologists or of the business, it's a responsibility of both business and technologists. So, to address this need and to help both these groups, I've written a book. It's almost done, and it's almost on its way out the door. Azure Cost Management for Busy People, a guide for IT and business. That's right, IT and business. So, what are the topics covered in the book? Well, one of the first topics is the fact that costs flow from your architectural choices. Let's say, for example, that you deploy something like this, and this very lovely reference architecture courtesy of Microsoft. You can check it out at the link. Lots of VMs, lots of SQL running on VMs. It's all very familiar. Lots of load balancers. This is the kind of thing that we're all familiar with if we've been in this business for a minute or two. But it's important to remember that there are costs associated with this type of architecture. Perhaps this type of architecture makes more sense in which you're using an Azure web app and you're using an Azure SQL database or Cosmos DB, more platform services, fewer virtual machines. Architectural choices, one of the topics covered in the book. We also talk about the decision matrix that I use. Well, this isn't a matrix, it's more of a flow chart that I use when I'm helping customers and myself determine exactly what kind of Azure solution is necessary, in which the business case is determined, and I'm looking at the architectural solutions that are available. We don't always have to reinvent the wheel. There are things available for us to review, in which I use the Azure pricing calculator to estimate the cost of the solution that I'm interested in deploying. Then, of course, the magic happens, the solution is deployed, and then we use cost management to monitor and control. So, just to review some of those steps in a little more detail, the Azure Architecture Center is available to you. You can look over what's considered by Microsoft proven architectures rather than inventing your own. Not that you can't develop your own, of course, but it's good to look at what's been done before and what's considered best practice. And the pricing calculator, very, very important. This is a tool that gives you the ability to plug your architecture in, plug the elements of your architecture in, and see, well, have a decent estimate of what the cost is likely to be. One of the other topics of the book, using the portal with Azure Cost Management. There's a lot of navigation going on in the portal. It's a handy tool, but it can be a little difficult to figure out where everything is. So, in the book, I walk you through how to get to and how to use cost analysis, how to look at accumulated costs, how to create a view so that different people within your team can have their own view of the data, using cost management permissions because with Azure AD and role-based access control, it's possible to give access to specific people just to see what the cost is without having access to everything that Azure can do. Cost by resource, daily cost and cost by service. We get into the granularity of costs, how you can export your cost data, either ad hoc or scheduled costs. Budgets, very, very important. You don't simply have to wait for costs to accumulate before you take action. You can also set a ceiling that determines what the cost should be. The scope of your budget, for example, subscription or resource group, detailed alerts, and action groups. Lots of good stuff there. So for example, you can create a view like this within the Azure Cost Management interface from the portal. Very nice, and the kind of thing that business people really need to see, and you as technologists need to see as well. Using the PowerShell to look at your Azure Cost Management situation, because you don't simply have to use the portal. You can also use PowerShell, of course, which you can use for everything. So we walk through some of the prominent Azure PowerShell commandlets that allow you to report on and to configure your cost management situation within Azure. So, in summary, Azure Cost Management for Busy People, a guide for IT and business by your Azure friend, Dwayne R. Monroe, coming soon, very soon, to the Kindle store.